Hi, good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, for the third time. I hope you had a good lunch, all of us, um, including the speaker. I hope, Alex, you had a good lunch. And sometimes it's difficult to take a session after lunch. But anyways, we have to go ahead with it. So, introducing Alex, or rather Alexandra. She represents the IOA and manages for the NOCs and NOAs relation and education projects. Huge experience of programs, curriculum building, and how does the NOAs work, and what are the mandates of NOAs actually in India. So all the discussions which was incepted by Professor Marcus, I believe that Alexandra is going to carry it ahead. We have a lot of questions, particularly because India is looking forward to have an NOA, and how do we build upon it to have a sustainable ecosystem for the athletes. So the whole question is that how do we execute it, and who best can guide us than Alexandra. So I invite Alex to take ahead this session, and I also thank Alex for being a driving force to Professor Marquez to be here in India and make this happen. Thank you so much. Alex, over to you.
So, good afternoon, everyone. Dear Professor Utsav, thank you very much for the introduction. I can, yes, but I need to.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so dear Professor Utsav, thank you so much for everything, for the invitation to be here. And also, I would also like to thank the team and Sonika especially for all the efforts. Wouldn't be here without you. Dear participants, dear students, dear lecturers, we are so happy, so enthusiastic to be in India for the first time. I personally have been waiting for this moment for many years. For almost more than 10 years, the National Olympic Academy of India has been inactive. And during all this time, I kept thinking of the potential that I was simply waiting, to be awakened. And Professor Utsav made that happen along with this magical, mystical connection with my director. So thank you really for that. It's time for us to take a step toward bringing this goal to life, to see the NOA of India return to activity, return to purpose and visibility within the Olympic movement. So being here today, I want to say something clearly. We are not here only to talk about cooperation, we are here to begin it. And we are confident that what starts now can grow into a strong long-term partnership. The NOAs are an inherent part of the International Olympic Academy, and the reason they have become a fundamental tool in its mission is because their birth has its grounds on the aims and operation of the IOA. From the moment the IOA was established in 1961, it became obvious that the IOA needed the support of other institutions in order to meet the educational needs. Attendance at the lectures of the sessions and seminars in Olympia made the participants aware of the mission of the IOA, And they started wondering what would be their own share when they returned to their countries. So they wanted a point of reference around which they would build their educational actions in cooperation with the IOA. As the founder of the first National Olympic Academy in 1968 and the founder of the Center of Olympic Studies in Madrid, Conrado Durantes, I don't know how many of you know Mr. Conrado, he said, "We went back to our respective countries, deeply affected by this mysterious Olympic awakening one feels after a stay at the Academy in Olympia." And he continues that this new institution they want to create back in their countries will be organized on the model of the Olympic Academy at Olympia, with the same objectives, and it would attempt to become an effective collaborator of the IOA. So the first NOAs were created as national centers for Olympic studies, following Coubertin's vision to study Olympism. Through the discussion groups of the IOA sessions, the idea to establish NOAs emerged. So after 1976, these national centers for Olympic studies with the IOA as a model were gradually renamed as National Olympic Academies, and together with those that already existed, they set up the first network. The NOA's evolution came with the commencement of the presidency of Juan Antonio Samaranch, when in 1983, during the meeting of the IOC Commission for the IOA, the IOC strongly encouraged all the national Olympic committees to proceed to the foundation of NOAs. While in 1984, the IOC president himself sent a circular letter to all the NOCs, urging them to establish an NOA in their countries. During the opening ceremony of the 28th IOA session for young participants on the Hill of Pnyx, the IOC president, Mr. Samaranch, praised the visionary founders of the NOAs, recognizing their role. And this acknowledgement that NOAs are driven by visionaries creates an inspirational model and reinforces the appreciation and commitment of the continuous development of the NOAs. This successful initiative of the president led to the creation of 114 NOAs out of the 153 that exist today. In the IOC manual for NOAs in 1989, it is clearly explained that there is a need for the NOCs to establish NOAs, by stating that participation in Olympic Games leaves the NOCs very little opportunity to reflect on philosophical principles of the Olympic movement, and Pierre de Coubertin was aware of that. Within the IOC, he often criticized the leaders of sport as being technical consultants rather than defenders of the Olympic spirit. And the IOC manual continues with the urge to establish an NOA. Every NOC in every country needs a National Olympic Academy. The turning point came in 1991, when the NOAs were officially included within the role and mission of the NOCs in the Olympic Charter. And this was definitely the beginning of the flourishment of the NOAs network. The world has conceived their significance, and the NOAs would begin their journey. So we arrive now at a central question: why are NOAs not just valuable additions, but fundamental pillars of the Olympic movement? Their answer lies in their mission. The NOAs bring the Olympic values into schools, into universities, into sports clubs, into communities, into the daily lives of people and athletes. Under the guidance of the IOA, they innovate, they adapt, and extend their influence, ensuring that Olympic values are not only celebrated, but lived, shared, and passed on across generations. In other words, they transform the philosophy of Olympism into a lived reality. They are the link between Olympia and the world, between philosophy and practice. Sport does not exist in isolation. It is shaped by technology, by culture, by politics, by the environment. The question is not whether sport will change, it is already changing. The question is whether we, as educators, as leaders, will guide this transformation in the direction of human dignity, in peace and solidarity. And this is the reason why the role of the Olympic education, and especially the NOAs, is so significant. So what is an NOA and what role does it play in the Olympic movement? When we speak of an NOA, it is important to see that it is not just a symbolic presence attached to an NOC. An NOA refers to an institution or a commission officially recognized by the respective National Olympic Committee entrusted with a responsibility to promote Olympic education and spread the principles and values of Olympism. It cooperates with schools, with universities, with sport organizations, ministries, and other institutions in order to organize and implement educational programs and projects. What makes the NOAs unique within the Olympic movement is their multidimensional mission and role. This fivefold mission that sets the NOAs as transformative agents. So we have the educational and cultural transformations. The NOAs embed Olympic values into the curriculum. They design learning materials, they train teachers and inspire young leaders. The NOAs foster actually an Olympic culture, shaping young people's mindsets. We have the social empowerment. The NOAs have a mandate to contribute to social cohesion and youth empowerment. They run programs for marginalized communities. They promote gender equality and use sport as a platform for peace and inclusion. We have the sport transformation. The NOAs serve athletes in ways that go beyond their performance. They offer seminars on ethics, workshops on safeguarding, initiatives that prepare athletes for career transitions, helping them in their personal growth and become role models for the society. We also have the political and institutional transformation. By influencing policy and creating networks, the NOAs ensure that Olympic education is institutionalized within the national systems. Lastly, we have the scientific and technological transformation. Some NOAs collaborate with research institutions to explore topics like sport governance, ethics, psychology, and even the impact of new technologies, such as artificial intelligence on training and competition. And this ensures that educational initiatives are modern, effective, and relevant. So, this model makes us believe that the NOAs are unique entities with a hybrid identity: educational, cultural, social, and sporting. But the NOAs do not act in isolation. They are part of a network that begins in Olympia. It is there in Olympia that they are inspired to return home and create the national initiatives. The IOA transmits the vision, and the NOAs translate this vision into action. According to the IOA's archive, 153 National Olympic Academies have been established worldwide out of total of 206 National Olympic Committees. The previous year, we have been proud to witness a remarkable increase in the number of participants attending the NOA's NOC session that is being held annually in ancient Olympia. There were 140 delegates from almost 100 countries around the world, compared to the average of 90 delegates in the previous years. Many NOCs have, without an NOA, have expressed interest in establishing an academy, and also have taken steps to reactivate their NOA, as in the example here in India. And this is a clear indicator of the growing commitment to Olympic education across the world. In recent years, the International Olympic Academy has expanded its reach beyond its historic base in Olympia, as Dr. Marquis has already mentioned, by bringing Olympic education directly to countries around the world. Through tailored programs developed in collaboration with NOAs, with universities, and other institutions, the IOA delivers on-site educational initiatives that engage diverse targeted groups, including NOC executives, national federations, and officials from ministries of sports and education. Together, we have established a dynamic and decentralized educational network. Notable examples are the Saudi Olympic Academy, our first step in this effort, the Olympic Academies of Bahrain, Thailand, Chinese Taipei, Colombia, as well as the Beijing Institute for International Olympic Studies in China. These scientific programs have been designed and conducted with lectures and workshops by distinguished university professors, covering a broad range of topics, from the history of Olympism and Olympic philosophy to current issues of the Olympic movement with global interest. So what is the IOA's role in general? It is the global programs that I have already mentioned. It is the reactivation of the weaker or inactive NOAs to rebuild their structures and return to meaningful activity. It's the creation, we help the NOCs to establish NOAs, National Olympic Academies, and of course it's the collaboration, working hand in hand with all the NOAs, with all the people that want to create an active academy, to expand their outreach, often by co-designing joint projects. Following the initiative of the IOA director, Dr. Marquis, and the guidance of our president, we are in the process of creating requirements in order for the NOAs to be officially recognized by the IOA, while respecting their independence, as it is a multicultural network. These criteria will empower the NOAs to elevate their capacity through their educational programs, and will help them to be strong, well-governed institutions. And by this recognition from the International Olympic Academy, that will open the door to collaboration, to resources, to global visibility. So with regard to the compulsory institutional requirements, there has to be alignment with the core definition and purpose of an NOA, and the submission of annual or biannual reports to the International Academy, presenting their activities and contributions to the Olympic movement. As optional criteria, it is strongly recommended that the NOAs develop and maintain their own statute, their own set of rules and regulations, in order to operate efficiently and with clear governance. In addition, they are required to be engaged in at least 4 educational activities within the period of 2 years, and this will contribute to the professionalism and sustainability of each NOA. So, which are these examples of these activities? Values alone are not enough. Unless they are lived, they remain abstract. Action is what gives values life, and action must happen at 3 levels. So we have the individual level, inspiring young people and athletes to live Olympism in their daily lives. The institutional level, embedding Olympic education into schools, curriculums, universities and sport organizations. And the societal level, using sport as a tool for inclusion, peace and sustainable development. So the true strength of the NOAs lies in what they actually do. According to a survey by the IOA, over the past 15 years, various fields of action have been classified, revealing common trends, good practices, and potential areas for improvement. This is an extremely useful tool for us in order to be able to analyze and understand the different activities on Olympic education, allowing us to contribute to a strategic plan for improving their programs. These initiatives emphasize both youth engagement and professional development. You can see, for example, for me, the cornerstone of these programs is the Olympic education programs, where they educate the youth, the teachers, they design learning materials. They also organize annual sessions addressing key themes aligned with IOA priorities, fostering dialogue and reflection. They also organize Olympic days, Olympic weeks, hosting sports, educational and cultural events to involve students, families, and the public in celebrating the Olympic values. They have publications, they produce manuals for all school levels. They develop interactive exhibitions, and they organize, for example, school tours to promote the Olympic idea. They also organize summer camps and festivals. They offer sports, educational, recreational programs, particularly during the Olympic Games periods. And something which is very popular nowadays, they provide educational seminars, either at the national level, either, as I said, in cooperation with the IOA. They provide certifications and professional development. Also, they can do it on site or through online courses. So these initiatives demonstrate the breadth, the depth, and the adaptability of the NOAs, allowing Olympic values to reach diverse audiences. In this table also you can see the countries that have implemented these activities very successfully. So we can see that the NOS network is not static, it's evolving into a living ecosystem of education and innovation. These cases offer inspiration to all of us, but unfortunately, they also pose a challenge. If some NOAs are strong, why are so many others weak? Why do so many NOAs exist only on paper? There are 153 academies in the world, but almost 100 are active. And what must be done in order to ensure that every NOC that establishes an NOA, it establishes a strong and an active NOA. So we face the essential question, what future lies ahead for the NOAs? The Olympic movement stands at a crossroads. We all know that. We live in a world of rapid technological change, shifting cultural identities, political instability, and ecological crisis. And in this world, the NOAs must play a decisive role. They must move from symbolic presence to systemic impact. So, the first priority for the future must therefore be the universal presence and minimum standards. Every NOC should establish an NOA, but commit at least a basic program of activities. Either it is youth education, teacher training, or cultural initiatives. The IOA, the International Olympic Academy in turn, must continue to support the weaker NOAs, helping them build capacity, share resources, and learn from stronger models. The second priority is capacity building. Many NOAs operate with limited budgets and personnel, but new opportunities can exist. Digital platforms can allow NOAs to reach thousands of young people at low cost. Online courses, certification programs, and interactive exhibitions can extend Olympic education to rural areas and diaspora communities. So, equally important are cross-border regional partnerships. Stronger NOAs can mentor the weaker ones, and whether they are in the same region or beyond. I just said that one. Okay. So, and we have, as we said, that the deeper collaboration with the IOA, we also have the final challenge, which is policy. For the NOAs to thrive, Olympic education must not depend only on voluntary enthusiasm. It must be embedded in national systems, particularly in educational frameworks. This means working with ministries of education to include Olympic values in the schools. It means ensuring that teacher training institutes, university, and research centers collaborate with the national Olympic academies. So if these priorities are met, then the future will see Olympic academies transform into a global system of values education. Such a system would make Olympism visible not only every 4 years at the Games, but every day in schools, federations, and communities. But to make this vision real, we need more than plans. We need commitment, leadership, and inspiration. Each of us must ask, what will I do when I leave this hall? Will I carry with me only memories of speeches and discussions? Or will I carry with me a mission? The Olympic Games may last only 2 weeks, but Olympism is timeless. And it is the task of the NOAs, your task, our task, to ensure that this light never fades. The Olympic movement does not belong to the past, it belongs to the future, and the future is built not in words, but in action. So let us leave this hall not only inspired but committed. As the former president of the International Olympic Academy and the current president of the Hellenic Olympic Committee said, the Olympic movement is here, the Olympic movement is now, and the Olympic movement is actually you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for the session. Now we would like to have questions from the audience.
Hi. So I heard a lot of talk about design, planning, and strategy in the entire conversation that we had. I want to also understand how big is design thinking and system design when it comes to the programs that you guys offer at IOA.
And so you mean the programs that we offer, or what should an NOA do at a national level?
At a national level, or even as an education center, how does system design and design thinking become a part of the overall education a person can have?
Yes, as I mentioned in the presentation, when a National Olympic Academy is being created, it has to have, for me, a main goal to start cooperating with institutions within the country. A National Olympic Academy cannot work alone, for sure. It's not an isolated entity that, has around 10 or 20 or even 50 people if they have budget and start doing programs on their own with schools. There has to be a policy, a system around it that will protect it. So that's why we insist, first of all, that the National Academies will um, have the NOC as, the mother, the umbrella that will help, of course, financially, and then at the national level they can have cooperations with the ministries, with the federations, with even with the universities to start creating projects. Then, if this is successful and they have the resources, they can move to a further step and start having international partnerships. And this is sometimes when they come to us and ask for a joint project, we want to see first what they have done in their country. And if, not know if they have been successful, but if they have the resources to complete things. Because it would be easy for an NOA to say, okay, let's bring the IOAs just to have, the logo, and we can do something. This is the surface, yeah. This will not work.
Thank you. Thank you for the session. I actually have a three-part question for you. Could you shed light on some of the countries that have been, some of the countries that are NOAs who have been able to meet with the objectives of IO? What exactly, the second part of the question is, what exactly did work for those countries and those NOAs, as in terms of whether the political administration was more aligned with the objectives or whether they financed those institutions more. So what were the reasons that the NOAs worked in those countries? And could you please share a few examples of the impact that those NOAs were able to achieve through their activities?
Thank you for the question. Actually, it would be unfair to mention some examples and not mention other NOAs. In every continent, for sure, there are NOAs that are truly, they set the best example. For example, I would start with the NOAs that we have, the last years we have started our cooperation. A similar case with a reactivated NOA is the case of Saudi Arabia. They have established an NOA many years ago. It has been inactive for so many years, and we have made an effort to reactivate it in 22, and from that moment they keep going. For me, the main reason for NOAs to be successful is work. You cannot do anything without planning and working. Um, so I think that yes, the Saudi Arabia has made very important steps in the Middle East, and we are really hoping now that India will follow this example and will start its work very powerfully. What was the second part of your question? Yes, the first.
Of the impact that you have been able to achieve, that the NOAs have been able to achieve through their activity.
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Examples of a few impactful stories that you could share?
Examples of countries.
Not countries exactly, but the impact that NOAs have been able to achieve through their activities.
Yes, the impact, you mean nationally, right? For example, the NOA of Argentina is doing great work and it has really engaged thousands of school children to educational projects. Also, the education, because some countries do not have a National Olympic Academy, but they have education commission within the NOC. For example, the Education Commission of Canada is also doing the same thing. They have also implemented very successful educational programs, and this is very impactful to the society when we see the numbers. You know, when we see that thousands of school children and hundreds of people have been engaged in some programs within the year, this for us is a proof that they have achieved their goal.
I don't know, it's from our own country. So the International Olympic Academy is based in Greece, but in Greece we have a National Olympic Academy as well, because they deal with all the educational projects within Greece. So here is an impactful story you're looking for. Our National Olympic Academy is working with the Ministry of Education, and now besides running programs all year through, especially during the Olympic week that can affect even more than 100,000 kids, they bring kids from the schools to the International Olympic Academy, 2,000 kids per year, to go 3 days a program. This one is very impactful and has made it to the news, and many schools now around the country want to come to the IOA, and it creates a new setup. And now the ministry is discussing about how they can integrate this even more inside the system of the official public school education system. Sorry, thank you.
Also, I want to add that there are some NOAs, as for example, the National Olympic Academy of Bahrain, following the same example of Saudi Arabia and other countries as well. They have created educational programs for national federations. There are people working in federations or working at the National Olympic Committee of the country, and they do not know much on Olympic history, on Olympic values, and this is really unfortunate. So, what did the NOA? They called the officials of the federations in order to train them, in order to educate them.
I have one question. So in India, which is largely dominated by cricket, so with NOA, so how do you have any plans in increasing the other effect of other sports, so that becomes a mainstream of other sports in sporting activity?
You mean because of
There is a huge cricket
it's a
fever.
huge country? Yes, this
Cricket
is
fever. A sport dominated. Cricket dominates our houses and offices and every place. So, what is the scheme of affairs you have as an NOA, where we can other sports can be dominated equally as cricket? That is first point. The second point is of late, if you can include the NOA with the Bollywood or the Hollywood, where the movie industry till this time, I don't remember Neeraj Chopra's movie is present. Rather, we have a movie on Mahendra Singh Dhoni and all other people. So, if you can include Bollywood as NOA, as you were extending the cultural aspect of the
of
NOA,
course.
so
Yes,
probably
yes.
as it. So the first question, ma'am, is there any scheme of
The
things?
first question I try to avoid because it's very difficult right now. It's a process we will try with the Indian Olympic Association to find a strategic plan. It's very difficult. It's the largest country. It has to be coordinated, I think, regionally. There is no other solution in that. And then, a whole coordination. But first of all, it has to be planned and designed at a regional level. This will take time, maybe, but it needs work. It needs work and it needs good planning. And yes, Mikey's would like to just say something.
Look, I don't want you, I told you in my speech, don't confuse the work of the academy with the Olympic Committee. So, developing
But with regard to the education, to
Yes,
education program,
developing a sport like you have cricket and everything, it's a job of a federation in collaboration with the government, local or central government, and the Olympic Committee. If that's going on, then the academy, the local academy, or like we do with the national academy, can help with the educational part, how to educate all the professionals, athletes, coaches, referees, all the people involved with the facilities, special events, event management, mega events that they can organize in order to develop the sport. But the development of the sport itself is not something that belongs to the academy's job or to the National Olympic Academy. Just to make it sure, because then, as I told you, the system will be confused. It's not the job of the National Olympic Academy to replace the job of the National Olympic Committee. It's not the job of the National Olympic Committee to replace the job of the National Federation, but to work and support the National Federation to do it. As people from the sport, they have a responsibility to develop the sport, to do the promotion, the marketing, all the development plan, and then the National Olympic Committee supports that, and the National Olympic Academy the same. Just, yeah.
but the development in terms of education, yeah.
Education, yes.
Then it would be a win-win solution if you can work with NOA or the IOA with the BCCI, because rather than excluding the whole component of it, if we can include the BCCI or any federation which is working well, so that in promotion of NA, that would be a great part on our NOAs, right?
And also with Bollywood, you said, it's really, creative for the NOAs to try to find solutions in each country using such means in order to motivate people, especially the youth. So, yeah, why not? I'm sorry, I cannot hear you. Ah.
I just want to know what is the working system difference between NIOA and OSRCs?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
National Olympic Academy and OSRCs. What is the working system difference between both the things?
Between the National Olympic Academies and the
OSRCs, Olympic Study Research Center.
The Olympic Study Centers. The Olympic Study Centers are targeted to a specific group, are targeted to universities and to research. The NOAs engage people from schools, have a wider audience. The Olympic Study Centers have their base in education, they are doing research, they are doing publications. It's different, they are two different entities.
Yes, speaking. First of all, before I'm going to speak, I just want to say that I totally agree with everything you said. But
well, I don't like that.
my colleague over there asked for a good example. I want to give you an overview of a more difficult example, and I can't do it because I'm from France, and it's about the French Olympic Academy. The thing is, in my country, we have an Olympic Academy since 94, I think, so 40 years ago, 30 years ago, yes. But at that time, the president of the NOC said, the Olympic Charter said, the first rule of an NOC is to promote Olympism. So for me, we have to have an education department inside our NOC. And suddenly, 3 years ago, we create a culture department inside NOC. So now we have an Olympic Academy in France and an NOC with education and culture. So we have both movements. Each one wants to hit the project of the others.
Unfortunately.
Yes. My question is, can IOA take the lead, go to the General Assembly of NOC and say every culture department of NOC become the IOA automatically? It would be easier for everybody, but I also know that you lose in autonomy.
Yes, thank you very much for this issue. It's a very serious issue because it's not only that the French Olympic Academy faces that, there are some other. We are lucky that there are not so many, there are few. It's amazing because when a country, when a system wants to create something, wants to promote something, and you can see that the people within the same organization, within the same institution, have this war, this is a helpless situation. Unfortunately, I have to say, the International Olympic Academy cannot intervene within the national Olympic committees. The national Olympic committees are the stakeholders with of the IOC. We have the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, having as stakeholders the national Olympic committees, and we have the International Olympic Academy having as its main pillars and main partners the national Olympic academies. We cannot go to the NOCs and intervene in their program, in their policy, in their set of rules and regulations. This is the problem. This is a situation that really gets things more complicated. Makis?
Our friend here said that the IOA, International Olympic Academy, should go not to its NOC, but to the Association of National Olympic Committees and propose to them, stop doing that, stop developing within your own countries two different systems. One system is the National Olympic Academy, already existing or created, and on the other hand, you have like an education department within the Olympic Committee that they complete each other and just join the forces. So
I'm sorry, did you say Association of National Olympic Academies?
National Olympic Committees, the ANOC, meaning that he are asking us to go to speak to the higher levels, IOC or the Association of National Olympic Committees, and tell them somehow to give a general direction. You don't need two systems within the same country to create education.
I totally agree with you, but I have to be pragmatic. During all these years that I have been in the Olympic movement, this for me is just a romantic theory. We could do it, but it's very difficult because, you know, some NOCs have their own system within the organization. They want to have their own interests in that. I wish I could be, you know, I could say, yes, we could do that and, you know, hope dies last, but it's very difficult.
You need to be more confident in your power because what interests people in France is to go to Olympia. So
Yes,
you have the power.
We have the power in certain things, not if we are involved within the NOC system. This is a reality that we have to face. Probably we have to make actions in order to stop doing that, but for the time being, I have to be realistic.
lot of you don't know here that that's happening not a lot, but it's very distressing that you have like an Olympic committee in like one country that establishes and approves and endorses a National Olympic Academy to do certain educational programs. And after a while, because of internal politics, inside the Olympic Committee, besides the Academy, they appoint a committee or a director for education as well. And then they start these two systems to compete or to fight or to have conflicts without really any reason, but purely politics. And there is Alexandra says, I'm not confident that we can go to all these countries that they have allowed these conflicting systems to work instead of joining forces and tell them to stop doing that. She's realistic, but the point of our friend here is we should speak to the IOC, to the National Olympic Committee, and to find a way at least to have a general direction. Don't create multiple educational systems within the country. You have enough with the educational system of the government, the Ministry of Sports in some countries. You don't need to create even more. Academy here, commission here, education director there, but it's purely politics inside the countries. We cannot afford to get involved with that, as Alexandra said, but we are aware of that, and we hope that our meetings now with the new president of the IOC will give us some better direction in terms of coordinating education worldwide.
And I would like to add something which may not be good for us, but I have to be fair. There are some NOCs that they do not have an NOA so far. Some they have created educational commissions that they work very well. So if we go now to a country and say, okay, you have your educational commission, but you have to create a National Olympic Academy for these reasons, then we cannot just go and ignore the work that has been done the previous years. It's very complicated, it's a very difficult situation. I wish we had the magic solution. Yes, please, Yanis.
Thanks, Alexandra. And as my friend mentioned before, my case, I think the situation is even worse because now within the IOC there are more educational programs. For example, you can do your diploma in sports, drugs and sport, your diploma in this, diploma in that. All educational issues that are really hot, that are very important for Olympism in the future, are now being run out of the IOC, and diplomas, etc., are being awarded. The IOC is not a university. Why should they be doing that?
Totally agree.
So I come back to my dear friend who mentioned before, and I say this also as a Greek and passionate about the Olympic movement, but also with one foot in the International Olympic Committee. You have more power than you think, but I understand how difficult it is. But I think you have more power, as the gentleman said. People want Olympia, people want the heart, people want that part, they want real Olympics. So bring us real Olympics. I know this is like dreaming now because it's very, very difficult. So I understand, I experience this every single day. But if we are wanting to change the world, and some of us want to, we've got to find ways. And I think one of the ways is getting money. At the end of the day, the money is everything. Yes. I chair the Science Commission of the International Federation of Sports Medicine, the only sports association recognized by the IOC since the Olympic Games in St. Moritz. So we're almost every country like you guys are. And we have our collaborating centers, which is same as your kind of Olympic academies. And it doesn't work all that well because the rich countries, Saudi Arabia can do very well. You know, Qatar can do incredible. I'm not picking on this country, by the way. Good luck to them. But what does Uganda do? What does Somalia do? You know, the countries that are so impossible. And actually, those are the ones who actually need our help more than anyone else. I do work in Kenya, Ethiopia, and I get asked questions like having sex with what? Can I fail a doping test? They're the ones who need education. They don't know what Olympism is about. The Kenyan runners I work with, who break world records and get gold medals, they never ever watch their race. Actually, don't even want to go to the Olympic Games because they don't make any money. So there are so many issues that we need to do. But I understand how impossibly difficult it is, and I wish maybe India won the Olympic Games. Also invest in the International Olympic Committee if you can be invested, so you have the money to be a little bit autonomous. What makes the difference between the International Federation of Sports Medicine and, say, the World Olympians Association, who had recently problems with the IOC, is they were funded by the IOC.
We as international race sportsmen refuse to get funding from the IOC. We have the logo, but we refuse to get money. Why? Independence. The independence is the most important thing, but we have the logo, which means that we can't get all the sponsors we want because we can't give them the rings. It gets complicated, but hopefully you can deal with all these big issues out of Olympia because I've seen it, I've worked there, I've seen how it transforms. That message you said in the beginning of your presentation was so beautiful, how you leave Olympia feeling different. How many places in the world can you feel that? I've been to all the Olympic Games the last 10 editions. I haven't felt like that as I feel when I go to Olympia or stand in front of Bhutan's heart.
And can you imagine that many IOC members have never visited the place?
From the right from the first session itself, it seems that we have set a very good momentum. And as Professor Yanis was discussing with me, the amount of question and the quality of questions we are receiving and the deliberations which we are having, it seems that we are going in the right direction. And we still have a lot of sessions. And I still have my questions with myself, Alex, on a lighter note. So thank you so much, Alex, for this insightful session. This is, I think, very important for us to understand how exactly NOAs works, and all with all your support, I am very confident, and within some time will yield some very good result. And our name, India, will be in the list somewhere at least. I'm very confident about it.
We hope so. We hope so. Thank you very much. You have been great. As we already told you, we love your country. We love the people. You are always with a smile on your face. You are very friendly. And I wish we could see you all in Olympia. Maybe next year we can change the venue and have the conference, the third conference in Olympia. Huh? What do you think?
I accept your proposal. I accept your proposal. So all of us are going to Greece. Right?
Alexandra will pay a ticket.
So now I would like to, Alex, just a moment. We have something for you. To felicitate, I would like to request Dr. Gaurav Singh Kushwaha. Sir, please. We felicitate our speaker with a memento.